great. We are online, Dorie. So wonderful to have you and to chat to you about your business and your ideas and how you've been led by God over the last few years to get into business and and to run a business. And I'd love you just to tell us before we start just a little bit about you and maybe your family, church, where you live, just whatever you think would be helpful, just to get a bit of context of who is Dorie.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Dorie. I live in Adorp. That's a really small town. It has no more than 300 houses. It's close by Groningen, and we have this amazing view over the horses and cows and sheep and some farms far away. So we live in this lovely neighborhood with my two kids, one who's almost 2 years old and the other one just turned 4. And my husband, Matthias, as well. So that's been good, and it is good. And I'm part of CCG, that's a church, a relational mission church in Groningen. So this is in my business. My business. Well, currently I'm mostly busy with my business in toys. That started out about half a year ago. When I decided to explore the possibility of if this business would be viable, this business idea I had in my mind. And this business is about durable toys for kids between 0 and 6 years old, the early years. That's what that's our main focus. And we have toys in store that that customers can take a subscription to. So we bring the toys and we swap them, or I swap them if it's necessary to go and swap, because kids are no longer playing with it. So that's the concept.
Wonderful concept. And just take me back before the 6 months. How did you land up with this idea? What was going on in your mind? What happened? What is the process to arrive at this? Did it all happen at once, or was it a stop-start, a couple of failed attempts? How did you actually arrive at this point where you decided, let's go for it, let's launch this business in this particular form? How did you get to that point?
Well, business ideas run through my mind always. When I see a business, I'm always trying to figure out how it works, and how it works, why it works. I've been self-employed for since I started working. So I've always done business my own way in early childhood music, but also teaching music in primary schools. A couple of years, I already have the thought in my mind of wanting to do something with durable toys for kids of this age group. And the idea developed, and it was just running through my mind every now and then. And last year's the lockdowns came, all over the world, but also in the Netherlands. So that made me think extra if I maybe needed to try out this idea, if it would work. So in December, I decided, after my latest course for early years music would have been ended, then I would take my time to see if it would work. And then the lockdown came a week after that. So that was my time. And even that was the first attempt, and then Business Link actually came, and someone prophesied over just this business idea, and it was beautiful.
Wonderful. Can you still remember that prophecy? Can you maybe just tell us a little bit how that prompted you to take a step of faith? What happened?
So the prophecy was about someone saw me walking in between toys, between my own in my storage room, filled with toys, and she saw me praying over the toys, that it might be a blessing for the houses that receive the toys. And she also said the toys would be a blessing for parents and kids, and they would have a good time together. So not just a kid playing, but also a good time together, because the parents found the toys interesting, and it triggered them to play as well as the kids. Yeah.
Okay. That's marvelous. It's wonderful how you've been part of the business link community, and you've actually received that specific prophetic encouragement, and it's actually launched you into this current journey that you're in. And on the back of all your preparation and all your studying music and everything, and now you are here. I'd just like to ask, has there been any moments where you've thought, actually, this is not going to work, this is too difficult, I want to stop, I want to try something different? Has there been any of those moments? You want to just share with us any thoughts that you had during those times, and how you worked through that, how you got through to pressing in and carrying on and persisting?
Yeah, well, the first months were actually about finding out if things would work. And at first, I wanted to produce toys as well. And after a couple of weeks speaking with a local factory in woodworking, we came to the conclusion that it would be too hard to make that work, and too expensive as well for a starting business. But on the other hand, I have, I talk about this business with people I meet, just to hear back of what they think of the concept, because I need to learn. I don't know. I've never done this before. So if people say, well, that's a weird idea, maybe how do you say that? I might need to reconsider the concept. But everyone I've spoken to said, well, this is such a great concept, please do this. So no, I haven't come to the point that I thought, well, no, I'm not going forward. No.
Okay.
No.
So it's just been a case of refinement, getting feedback from people, and clarifying the vision that you originally had, because you had an idea to make the toys, but it's also being willing to say no to that, and changing your direction to stay on the wider road, which is to deliver this business idea. That's fantastic. And just talk me through maybe an average week. What sort of stuff do you do? How does your business run? What things have you learned in these 6 months? What ideas have you started implementing and you think are really helpful to keep a business going, to keep just keep it exciting and working for everyone, including yourself, and sustainable?
Yeah. Well, my working days are Tuesday, a few hours on Wednesdays, and my Thursday. So that's actually quite a limited time to, run a business. Outside of these hours, I'm thinking when I'm at home or doing chores, I'm always thinking, okay, but what can I do? What is what would be the next step, or what would be the step in about a year time from now? So when I work, I'm able to work, and what I do, there's all kinds of systems that need to get into place. A lawyer has been busy this week to make what do you call them in English? The terms of use for speeltegoed. So, my afternoon after this conversation, I'm gonna look into them, see if I can agree with them. I'm speaking to a guy from the website who's building my website. I'm looking for new toys that fit my criteria. And I'm calling customers. And yeah, this morning I had a conversation, or I made a visit to a daycare. And I have them once or twice a week. And I have a swap week every first week of the month. So that's my week where I swap the toys, and then I'm driving around in my big bus. Meeting people, bringing new toys, and that's always a good time. Yeah, so it's every day is different here. Yeah.
Okay, and this business at the moment is just you, is that right?
Yeah, unfortunately, but I'm having a hard time calling it just me and myself and I, because there's all these people involved at the sideline, thinking with me, or so I'm not having the idea I'm doing it by myself. No, and just God is also doing things I couldn't imagine. So it's not just me. No.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is. Yeah, I'm the only one employed by Speeltegoed. Yeah.
And longer term, do you feel that maybe it'll grow to the point where you need to start taking on specialist people to help you run, people to help you manage it, and maybe expand outside the country? I don't know. What are your sort of, at the moment, what do you feel? Where do you think God is going to lead you on this?
Yeah. I've just asked someone to help me with the bookkeeping a bit more than he already was, because that's something that stresses me out, and he is doing a great job with that. So I've asked him to do that. Okay. It's a really new business, but my expectance was the point where I'm at now. I have 8 customers, and I expected actually to have 8 customers in about November. So, and I hoped to employ someone else from half of 2022, but I'm hoping I can bring someone in earlier, because I would really love to have someone as a sparring partner, but also doing this as a team.
That's wonderful. So I guess what you've said there is you've recognized some of the areas that you need a bit of help in, like the bookkeeping, and it's to take action on that almost straight away and fill that gap with someone who can really do that well for you, so that you can focus on what you're good at, which is the strategy of the business, making links with new customers, and make sure the business is running smoothly. That's a really good point for people to just pick up on. Just in terms of, I guess, how you've been helped or served by Business Link. I know you got a prophecy through Business Link, but anything else that you'd like to just encourage people to get involved with Business Link, and how it's helped you, how it served you, and also being part of a local church where you are, how's that helped grow your business and support it, having friends to give advice and, I guess, mentor you in a way, and help you in that way?
Yeah. I was actually quite scared to start this business. The idea has been in my mind for quite some time. But I've had, unfortunately, a quite bad example of a business man somewhere when I grew up. And I saw what it did, what it can do to a family to be in business. So I was quite scared, actually. I thought, I don't want to be like that. And I don't want that to be happening to, sorry. I was a bit scared of all the time it would consume being in business. And also, if the business would, how do you say?
It would take over your life, is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, thank you. So I think I've postponed my idea to start it for quite some time. So I've talked about this with friends, with sisters and brothers, and yeah. And everyone just said, well, but when you do something that we think is not okay, you are accountable, and we can tell you to just go another direction, or well, we've seen you and we've learned who you are these last years, and do this if you think this is all right, because we think it's a good idea if you move forward with this. And Business Link was also a part in that, just being supportive in that. And yeah, well, actually, people have been praying things that I was scared of. So, well, that's just God. He put this on my heart. I'm sure of that. So, and well, now I'm stepping out, so to say. Yeah, and also being accountable. Yeah.
It's a really good summary. So Business Link for you has been like a community where you can get help, you can bounce ideas, you can get feedback on your concepts as you're beginning to form them in your mind, as well as having close friends from your local church helping you and just strengthening you, praying for you, encouraging you on that journey, something which you may not have done without them. So that's really important, to surround yourself with people. So just coming towards the end of our chat, what if you had to give a little bit of advice to someone who's maybe a little bit like you, who's thought, I can't do this, I've had a bad experience, I've seen it done badly, what maybe one or two things would you say to that person who's just about to start, but who just can't bring themselves to the point of starting a business, getting their idea and actually making it? What would you say to them?
Well, if God tells you something, he doesn't ask things you can't do. He doesn't give a task that you can't fulfill. So if you're scared, talk about it and pray for it. Pray about it with others. Yeah, share what frightens you, but also don't be afraid if God tells you to do something. Yeah.
That's really good. That's been fantastic, Dorie. Really love talking to you and hearing about your business and how your journey has moved from a little idea to something actually happening, and during lockdown as well. So well done for being so diligent and faithful to the vision that God has given you and being obedient. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.